Welcome to a quick episode of Midwest Gatherer. Behind me is a basswood tree. There are a similar species called linden trees that a lot of people grow ornamentally in their yards. These trees are really common in parks and other areas like that, and they have these little nuts that grow on them in the middle of summer that you can use to make chocolate. So let's make some chocolate. Right here are the little nuts that you can pick off, and they come off pretty easy, small groups like this, and you just kind of separate the main nuts from the stems and end up with a small handful. After a while, you'll gather quite a few pretty easily, and you can leave some of the stems on. It's not a huge deal. We're going to roast these in the oven, and the stems will break off pretty easy after that. So let's go into the kitchen and make some chocolate.
All right, we're back in the kitchen and we've washed up our basswood nuts. And we're gonna go ahead and kind of just spread those out evenly on this aluminum foil covered pan. And basically, we're just trying to create an even surface for everything to roast, and then pop it in the oven, and now they are nice and roasty toasty. And they'll start to smell like chocolate. That's a pretty good indicator as to when they're done. And now we're gonna go ahead and do what I call the use and abuse method. So this is where I abuse my kitchen implements. I've got a old magic bullet that I'm going to torture with these nuts. I'm going to try to grind these nuts into as fine of a powder as possible, something to resemble cocoa powder. And you can see there's some pretty good sized chunks, and so we're going to just sift out the parts we need and then continue to try to grind down those bigger parts until we've used as much as we possibly can. This is a frustrating kind of way to make this. If you can find a better way to turn this stuff into a powder, you could save a lot of time and probably your ears too, because this is really loud to run a magic bullet for this long. But yeah, I just use a little cheesecloth and a colander and work it over a bowl, and you can see here that we can generate a decent amount of powder here. Now we're going to go ahead and melt down our cocoa butter, and you don't want to boil this, you just want to melt it. So it's on a pretty low setting and it will take a little bit of time, but we'll go ahead and melt our cocoa butter, and once it is all melted, we're going to add in our basswood powder as well as some freeze-dried milk, and then we'll add our sugar after that. But we're going to mix this in kind of in batches just to make sure everything gets dissolved and evenly mixed. And then essentially once you have everything mixed together and dissolved in, you're ready to pour into your molds. Now if you're vegan, you could of course leave out the milk, and I think that would mess with your ratios a little bit more. You'd probably need a little less oil. But there are recipes online, and it is not too difficult to find the information you would need. And here's kind of our finished product. The texture is grainy, and that makes it useful for cooking, but not super good for eating raw. In the future, I'm going to figure out a better way to grind the powder, and I think by doing that, you won't have that grainy texture, and you may be able to eat this like a real chocolate bar. It has a chocolate flavor, but with almost notes of like peanut butter mixed in. So very unique flavor from the basswood tree. Well, thanks for sticking around with me. I hope to catch you at the next video, and thanks for watching.